If you want to watch this run without the commentary, there's a link to that video in the description and the pinned comment, but otherwise just keep watching. So any percent runs always start from a save file at the starting position of the part 1 prologue, and the first thing we're going to do is walk forward and trigger the cutscene and roll to get some distance, and then we're going to grab the shotgun to do a super jump. And to do a super jump, you switch from a one-handed to a two-handed weapon or vice versa, and you jump on a specific frame during that animation while you're walking forward. And we ran through the baby's room really quickly to skip triggering a cutscene. We're gonna go back into the room and trigger the cutscene while the ending cutscene is also triggered, and that makes the two cutscenes play over each other and they both end quicker. So right after we skip the comic strip after this loading screen, we're going to start spamming F5, which is the quick save key, and it's going to let us save right before this opening cutscene starts, and if you quick save on the frame before a cutscene starts and then you load that save, you will gain control during the cutscene, which is why I'm able to move around with Max right now. And then while this cutscene is still playing, I'm going to go and trigger the next part of the level, which is also a cutscene, and the same trick that we did at the end of the part 1 prologue is also going to happen here, where the two cutscenes play over each other and they both end quicker. And one thing you'll notice is that I'm going to be capping the frame rate at certain times at 30 FPS, and other times I will have the frame rate just be unlocked up to 500 FPS. And having an unlocked frame rate is useful because you can go downstairs a lot faster because the physics are tied to the frame rate, and it also makes it harder for most enemies to shoot us. A high frame rate also makes NPCs follow us faster, so it's useful for that here as well.
What's going on here?
And we're gonna save glitch into the cutscene at the control room door. One thing to note about save glitching as well is that it removes your reticle until you start another cutscene. You won't have any reticle and your aim will be offset a little bit. So I just spam save. Once the cutscene starts, then I load that save and we can move around during the cutscene. And here in just a second when I get to the train, I'm gonna do one of the main glitches of the game, known as the Dead Man Walking glitch. And this uses save glitching and the fact that during this cutscene you can get in front of the train and the train will kill Max. And because there's two versions of Max, and the one version is killed during the cutscene, and you get put into the other version of Max during the cutscene, the health and state of Max, of the first Max, is carried over to the second Max. So since the first Max died, the second Max is dead, but it gives us control back of Max. So we're able to move around, kill enemies, and do what we would usually do, but we can't save because the game thinks we're dead, and enemies won't shoot at us also because they think we're dead. So this does carry through levels, so I still have it on now that we went into part 1 chapter 2, and I'm going to be using it for a few levels here. And the way to deactivate the Dead Man Walking glitch is to use painkillers in a level, and it won't deactivate it for that level, but the level after you use the painkillers, the Dead Man Walking glitch will be deactivated, and everything will be back to normal. It's usually faster to do super jumps upstairs, so I did that set of super jumps there. And you might notice sometimes I'm jumping on objects and then walking off of them. That's because there's air strafing in this game, which is like the fastest way to move in the game. So usually if there's an object in your direct path to where you want to go and you can jump on it, it's almost always faster to jump on it with max and then like walk off of it and get that extra little bit of speed you get from air strafing. And we want to grab these grenades here, which is very useful from that guy, and get the rest of the ammo. Essentially all cutscenes take longer when you have your frame rate uncapped, so I have my FPS capped to 30 here, and this one takes almost a second longer if you don't have it you don't have your frame rate capped. In this cutscene, usually Alex and Max would be talking, but they're just silent right now. That's because I have the parental lock feature turned on in the launcher that appears before you start the game. And this saves about 6 seconds throughout the run because usually you would have to press F1 twice to skip each comic strip, but since the parental lock feature deactivates the comic strips, you only have to press F1 once to skip them. And the time save comes from the fact that there's a forced delay between when the game accepts your first F1 press and being able to accept another F1 press to skip the comic strip. So we save all of that forced delay time at the very least. And this last super jump lets me hit the trigger early, and I'm also gonna do a comic strip menu skip, which I'll explain later. And I'm doing a glitch right here. I'm spamming A plus shift during the loading screen. And for some reason on this level, that movement will actually be applied to max. And if I turn my camera in a certain way, while I'm doing that A plus shift spamming, I can get somewhat lucky and open up the doors and then skip the Benito Brothers boss fight, because I can just walk away. And we still have the dead man walking glitch here, so this level we don't have too much to worry about. One thing to note is that I'll shoot the ground sometimes to activate enemies to start moving. They will start coming towards Max, trying to shoot him, etc., etc. And then that's useful in certain scenarios. There's a few things you have to be careful of when you have the dead man walking glitch. If I walked into that boiler room too early, I would take damage and die, because there's a death trigger for entering the room too early. There's also some scripted grenade throws that happen even when the dead man walking glitch is active, and fall damage could also kill me. But you see here, I used the painkillers in the elevator to deactivate it for next level. And I also grabbed the Ingram ammo there, which is going to be important for when we get Ingrams. They are one of the best weapons in the game, if not the best weapons in the game. So getting that 100 ammo is very nice. I rolled there just to get a little extra distance to that door. Usually if you just walked up to the door, right when you hit it and the door started opening, the door, Max would be stopped. But since you roll through the door, the rolling animation completes and you get a little extra distance. And we're gonna super jump to skip a little part here. We don't take any fall damage there because we hit a trigger to end the level, and that trigger makes us invincible. We're going to do a save glitch at the start of this chapter, and I'm going to be rolling during this cutscene because it's faster to roll. I'm save glitching into each camera change of the cutscene so that I can still see Max and be able to see what I'm doing. So that's why there's a bunch of different save glitches here. And I'm gonna just blow up those canisters while we just have time to pass. The main reason we're doing this save glitch is for this save glitch here, where once we're teleported back over to the street, we can then roll and gain extra distance until the cutscene ends.
The luck always came with a price tag. More bombs could still be ticking inside.
Doing that,
shooting
the canisters just saves a little bit of extra time.
Suite was on the top floor. At least it used to be, before the explosive makeover.
And so now, in this level, we have to worry about the enemies actually killing us. And it can be a little tricky, but for the most part, you're okay. Hitting the super jump is pretty important. It makes it a lot easier to kill this Ingram guy. Usually, if you don't hit it, he'll walk up towards the door and kind of hide, and you won't be able to kill him. And he can be very deadly, because he has the Ingram. Rolling 3 times past those guys is pretty much foolproof for not taking any damage. And then we really want to make sure we kill this guy and get his Ingrams. And we got both of them, so that was nice. And using a high FPS in this room, I can just go right past everybody and get to the end. And then I'm going to do another save glitch here, and in this cutscene we're invincible, so I'm going to drop down and not take any damage. And almost all of this level is skipped by doing a sequence of super jumps. Because this starting building here is also where the level ends. So this first super jump to get up here, second one, and then a third one to get up to the next window, and then a fourth one to get up to the last part here. And we're going to save glitch into this cutscene, and in this cutscene as well there's 2 versions of Max. We're going to spawn in as the first version of Max, and we need to walk into the door in a certain way to move him out of the way once we get teleported, put into the second version of Max. And we're going to activate a few cutscene triggers here, and then activate this last trigger to spawn the train, and then we're going to walk forward onto the train and end the level. And save glitching into this cutscene allows us to do another very useful glitch called the dodge roll immortality glitch. And the way that this works is that when Max rolls, the dodge roll immortal flag is set to true, which means he can't take any damage from bullets. And during this cutscene, Max is teleported at a certain point up to this roof where he's landing right now. And if we're in a rolling animation, when that teleport happens, the game will never set the dodge roll immortality flag to false. So we will be invincible to bullets. And we also, during this cutscene, right after we're teleported up to the roof, we jump down to the street while we're still invincible because of the cutscene. You have to keep rolling during the cutscene to do the dodge roll immortality glitch, because for some reason it will not work otherwise. Jumping down here helps save time over going the normal route through the level, and it also allows us to do the door skip later on in the level, since we skipped some triggers that would usually barricade the door. So we don't have to worry about any of the enemies here. Getting this grenade from this enemy we killed is very important. And then because of the route we took through the level, how we jumped down to the street and skipped a lot of it, we can go through this door, whereas usually we wouldn't be able to do that. It would be boarded up. And so that skips a little portion as well. And we need to kill all of these enemies here to be able to progress. So you might have noticed I skipped past one of them. He pretty much always dies from the grenade, so I didn't have to shoot him. Messed up a little bit on this guy, but it's alright. And we're gonna use the 2 grenades in this cutscene here to kill Vinny's henchman. And then right after the cutscene ends, we will be able to kill Vinny. Grabbing a little bit of Ingram ammo, always good. And then we're on to Ragnarok. Ragnarok is a very fun level with the super jumps. This
subtle
first
wicked
sequence
dark
here of
messages that
3
cut
super
through the
jumps allows us to
heart,
skip
like father, like son,
like more
just
than
like
half
Jack
of this
did.
level. We're going to end
bloke
up
had never been a bestseller.
jumping through the trap door where you kill the enemy, and there's a cool cutscene of him falling down the trapdoor. We're gonna super jump up through that trapdoor, skip a lot of the level. So here's the trapdoor on the ceiling there, and just super jump through it. And we do a few more super jumps just to go faster, at least usually. Maybe not faster since I messed up, but you can see we're through almost all of the level already. We're about to get to the stage and then to the backdrops right after that, and that's where the level ends. Using air strafing there allows us to get that extra distance. We do a few more super jumps instead of doing the puzzle for the backdrop. And that's the end of that level. Very, very fun level. Especially if
This was the rotten core of the
your
Big
super
Apple.
jumps are on
The
point.
Pino lurks somewhere ahead.
So
like a
again, we
spider
always
at the
try to
center of his
super jump
web,
upstairs.
The vapors in the air
I
started to
missed
make my
one of
head
them.
swim.
And save glitching here is very useful into this cutscene. We're invincible during this cutscene as well. And we're gonna super jump up to where almost all of the enemies spawn. And we're gonna be able to kill a big portion of them while we're invincible. I'm gonna try to take out the rest of them. Not too bad. And then there's 2 enemies over here on this other ledge, so we just need to take them out, and then we activate the Pino boss fight. And his henchmen are both not invincible, but for some reason he is, so we have to wait to kill him until after the cutscene. And then we're going into the first nightmare sequence. This one is definitely the easier and shorter of the 2. The blood trail portion is very, very short if you know the route. And we're rolling through this entire level as time is slowed down below normal. And I believe it's 0.7 times normal speed. But it ends up being faster to roll when time is slowed down than just normally walking. And also because of parental lock, the blood trails are colored this grainy white texture, so that's why it looks like that. We're gonna skip a cutscene again in the baby's room, and we're gonna do a triple cutscene stack here. So we're gonna save glitch into the first cutscene, hit the door to activate the second cutscene, and now while doing this black screen, I'm rolling back towards the baby cradle to activate the third cutscene at a specific time when Michelle says sorry.
No,
And that's the fastest way to make all of these cutscenes end. And at the beginning of this chapter as well, we're doing a save glitch here to do the dodge roll immortality glitch.
Without a gun.
Right at the end of this
all I had was
cutscene,
Niagara's
Max is
back,
teleported back.
sticky with my own blood.
So I rolled right before the end of the cutscene, and that allowed me to get the glitch. If we didn't do the dodge roll immortality glitch, we would have to roll through this whole hallway, which ends up being slower. So that's why we do the glitch there. It's also a little safer for these 2 enemies here. But then we're about to do the dead man walking glitch again, just in a different way. We're going to kill ourselves right as the cutscene is triggered that makes Max invincible. And if we do it right, we
Things were fast
will
going
we
from
will
bad
die,
to
but
worse.
still be put into the cutscene, and we will have the dead man walking glitch active. I'm also spamming quick save when I get up to this door. It seems to make it more consistent. I'm not exactly sure why. But you can see that red flash of the screen there. That's how I know that the glitch worked. So now if you look at the health bar in the bottom left, you can see that it's fully red, and I have the dead man walking glitch again. Another little trick to speed up the boss fight, we throw the grenade through the door as we hit the door to kill the 3 enemies during the cutscene, which is pretty funny. And then we just have to kill Frankie. This is another level where we can do the boost at the start, so I was spamming W plus shift, and you can see Max shoot dodge forward to get some extra distance during that
The skipper of
cutscene.
the Kayron was waiting, like the ferryman in the river Styx.
And dead man walking glitch levels are pretty simple. You just have to get to the end. You need to grab those painkillers there, and we have plenty of time to do it, to be able to deactivate the dead man walking glitch later and have a good amount of health after doing it. And we jump up there and go out of bounds, and then we're gonna super jump back in bounds here. And we need to be very careful doing these super jumps, because if we end up not landing on a ledge and just going over it, there's a chance that we will fall, hit the ground, and die. Because we're not invincible during dead man walking. If we take any damage, we will die. But it worked out okay, and I also did another boost there at the start. For some reason, it only works on the 2 chapters, and then part 1, chapter 3. And we can skip a big portion of this level by doing that super jump there. So now we're out of bounds. We're skipping that whole moving platform section where you snipe enemies in the towers. And we're also skipping going in that second building that I'm looking at right now. And we're gonna go all the way around and get directly to the ship with Boris Dime. You can actually get out of bounds on this level without using any glitches. You just have to wait for the moving platform to stop at the first ledge where we did the super jump from, and then you jump onto the little railing on the moving platform, and then you can jump out of bounds there. So we super jump over here, and then we have to roll past this invisible barrier to get back onto the ship. And we go down the stairs here on IFPS, and we get the door for the Boris Dime fight. We just use the Inghams, and shoot them in the head. And then we need to make sure we grab only what we need here, so we can get some bolt ammo, some Ingham ammo, and some grenade ammo.
Glad to meet you here. Collect all the guns and ammo you want. Meet me on...
I knew it was a long shot. Angelo Punchinello actually showed
But
up,
again,
but there was no point in
we
hoping.
have the dead man walking glitch on for this level. We are deactivating it now though, so I used 6 painkillers, which is the max. And a lot of the fire in this level it's just a visual effect and won't damage you. So that's why you can walk through the fire. And we do a little skip there. If you're not quick enough with that, you will die. You will take damage and die. As long as you jump from a certain point, it's very consistent. Another important thing is that we need to pick up that grenade from that enemy there.
He was trying to put out my flames with gasoline.
Because we're going to be using 5 grenades in the next level, which is the last level in part 2.
Gun him down.
But we don't have to worry about too much in this level. Tried to do a super jump up here, but didn't end up working for me. And so now I'm gonna save glitch into this cutscene and all of its camera changes.
Silent rhythm of their murderous hearts.
For all of this cutscene, except after the last camera change, the time is just normal, so that's why I'm just walking straight forward instead of rolling. It does change to 0.8 times speed when the last camera change of the cutscene happens, so then I start rolling.
Rust on their lip.
And I really want to make sure that I kill these 3 enemies in the wine cellar here with the grenade. It didn't end up working out for me, and the Ingram guy was still alive.
Pilot Providence.
Which is very annoying while we're trying to do this Pilot Providence strat with 3 grenades here.
Big Brother and Joe Deadpan Salem.
But I was able to kill him pretty fast and roll through the door, which is important. Usually you wouldn't be able to get through the door before the enemies come through. But you can see this Ingram guy that I left alive lost me a lot of time there. And we need to open the door and go inside a little bit to trigger the last of the trio of Vince Mignogno. Save glitch into the final cutscene, and we save glitch again. And then we're save glitching into this cutscene here. And there is a small window after this cutscene ends where Max is not invincible. So I threw a grenade at a specific point during the cutscene so that it would blow up in that small window when Max is not invincible, and that killed Max. And killing Max at the end of that level allows us to move faster in this level. Usually we would be in the wounded state, so we would move at the normal wounded speed instead of the normal speed. So by killing ourselves at the end of Angel of Death,
the weird piece of paper
we have the normal movement speed rather than the slower wounded speed. It also means that we have the lead pipe out, as you can see Max has out now, and we also have the Beretta. And I do a little trick there with a shift roll, which allows me to cancel the landing animation. And it's also useful as it's a little bit of a shorter roll for these shorter blood trails here.
Max! No! Max!
Murderer! You killed her!
And that part isn't too bad at all. I'm gonna do a trick here I've done before in the run. I didn't get to explain it. It's called the comic strip menu skip. So you can see I pulled up the menu there right as a comic strip was loading. And since we time with the load times removed, it does end up saving time. And this level is very, very tough, especially getting through this first part with the save glitch. We're not invincible during this cutscene, unfortunately, so it makes it very hard to try to run through easily. See, we're taking damage. And I had little trouble on this level, which usually ends up happening. For some reason I was able to just walk past him Just an update. I realized that you can just walk past the enemies, the enemy that rolls the door every time, so that's what you should do instead of doing what I do. If you jump on this box correctly, you can jump off immediately, which is the fastest way to do it. It's really not that hard if you're not a pleb like me and it's your jump. And this first guy can sometimes really give you problems, but it wasn't too bad here. These enemies with the grenades can sometimes mess with you too, like this second guy did you, but it wasn't too bad. Nice well-placed grenade here, can kill both of them. They're very tough, and will do a lot of damage if we just tried to walk past. Probably kill us. I really like this level, for the kind of unique trick that there is. So we're gonna use super jumping to be able to go through a wall, because we super jump onto the top of this door, and if we're positioned in a certain way on the door, we can just go straight through the wall as the door takes us through the wall, because the game does not think that Max is moving, so it doesn't check for any collision. And since the wall is thin enough, if we're positioned correctly, when we press W and we're in the wall, it immediately ejects us out from the wall because it realizes we're colliding with the wall, and inside the wall, it'll eject us out. Since the wall is thin enough, we can get through it to the other side. Afterwards, we save glitched into the cutscene there, and we started walking backwards in the level because we're gonna do that same trick that we just did to get out of bounds using the one door. We're gonna use the other door and get out of bounds, and this time we're gonna drop down and get to the end, get to the elevator very quickly. So now we were able to use that, get down here. Because of the mechanic that enemies are triggered by shooting by, when we shot the one enemy on the bridge near the start of the level, right before we did the door breach, the enemies down below were triggered by that shot, so that's why when we fell down here, they all spawned in. And these enemies are very tough, so I'm going to use bullet time here. We try to use bullet time as little as possible in the run, but it's the fastest way to do this consistently. After we skip the comic strip of Part 3, Chapter 3, we can hold quick save key, and the timing is very lenient, and then we'll be able to save glitch into the open cutscene. And we'll also do a dodge roll immortality glitch during the cutscene. So we can do the dodge roll immortality glitch during this cutscene because we get teleported twice. We get teleported inside of the wall with commandos around us, and then we eventually get teleported back. But you can see we got teleported. I'm spamming the interact key to open the doors as fast as possible. And then we're also going to shoot to activate some enemies, and the hope is that they will keep these doors open so that we can walk right through, but they closed right before we got there. And we do a huge skip here that saves about a minute and a half. We activate this other console here, and then when the announcer says, she says decontamination completed, when she says completed, you can shoot the console, and it will open the first door, and the second door will stay open, and then we can just walk right through. In the last room, there is fire that above the barrels that would kill you, but for some reason, a lot of the times, it's just invisible. And in the trip mine room, you can jump on that one trip mine near the elevator, and it blows up a lot of them without damaging Max at all.
The woman had come and gone a long time ago. There was nothing more for me here. The bunker's name was acting as a self-fulfilling prophecy.
we just have to wait in the elevator. I pulled the bat out because we're gonna be doing another dodge roll immortality glitch at the start of the next level. One cool thing you could do in this cutscene is you can save glitch into it and then kill the version of Max that runs out of the elevator, and you can actually duplicate whatever weapon he has in his hand, so you would get whatever the default ammo size is for that weapon. So like for grenades it would be 1, for the Colt it would be 10. We used to do the dead men walking glitch at the end of the last level, but it was pretty tricky to get the timing right, and it ends up being really fast if we do it this way, because we can still save glitch into the cutscene near the end of the level that introduces the BB fight. We have to wait here for the death trigger that's a little bit in front of the van to go away. The dodge roll immortality glitch also allows us to do a few extra things we'd be able to do with the dead man walking glitch, like grabbing that Ingram ammo there, which is going to come in handy for the later levels. And I have my frame rate uncapped during this level so that we can walk down the ramps faster, even though it's not stairs. Since it's slanted and gravity is affecting us, we can walk down the ramps faster. We're also gonna grab the M79 grenade launcher. You can get the Colt ammo if you really need it, but we don't really need too much of it. And grabbing Ingrams and painkillers during this level is also a priority. We're gonna need it for the next few levels. We need to make sure we kill all of these guys, or else they'll be shooting at us while we're trying to activate the phone at the end of the level. We need to super jump over this barricade here so we can activate triggers in a certain way to kill BB in the fastest way. And we really need to make sure that we shoot the farther guy from us with the M79. So we're gonna activate BB by jumping on top of the van there, and then we're hitting a trigger next to the pillar, and that causes BB to walk forward towards us. And then we go back and shoot with the M79 to damage the barrels. And since we triggered BB to walk forward, he's in the death trigger area near the barrels, so he dies. And again, here at the start of this level, we do another dodge roll immortality glitch.
It was only a one-story fall. Lucky me.
And I'm shooting with the Ingrams here to try to trigger an enemy to walk towards Max. And you don't need to do this if you're confident you got the dodge roll immortality glitch, but I did it kind of out of habit anyway. And we do a huge skip with this one super jump here, which you basically go from the start of the level straight to the end. Now, down here, we're pretty much at the end of the level. We do a cool trick here with the grenade launcher to take out the tripwires all at once really quickly. We can just keep moving. And now we just save glitch into the opening cutscene for part 3 chapter 6, and we jump onto the railing right away, and we can super jump from there up to the catwalk up above.
I had nothing to lose.
There's a cool super jump on these stairs. I don't do it that way, but you can actually go through the floor next to the stairs. You can super jump through it and get up the top of the stairs, which is really cool. But we do another skip here with the super jump to get down to this lower balcony, which skips a good part of the level as well. We roll, and we roll down to this other balcony. And And now we're pretty much at the end. We're about to activate the final fight of the level. And we're just gonna save glitch into the cutscene introducing the final fight. As we can move forward during the cutscene after this part, and we can get pretty much to the end before the cutscene even ends. We just want to skip past all the enemies, so we just roll the end there. And during this cutscene to start the level, we're doing a super jumping sequence to skip a huge portion of it. This is a very long level. But by super jumping up here, we skip past all those enemies with the M79s and the sniper rifles,
Colder
and a
than
bunch of
walking
other
fridge.
enemies.
Cold as a gun.
And we do another little skip here, where once we activate the elevator, we can actually just walk through the doors instead of having to do the little fight with the commandos with the killer suits. You just skip past that and just go into the elevator immediately. This part's pretty much an auto-scroller. One thing you might not know, if you have the grenades, you can actually use the grenades to complete this by just throwing them straight up. It's really cool. You would think that they would fall back down, and kill Max, but they don't. They actually kind of float in the air somewhat. It's pretty. It doesn't look right at all, but it's pretty funny to watch. I pulled out the bat here because we're just gonna have to roll past some enemies. There's a lot of enemies that spawn here with bolts. And I did a little flick towards this elevator, and that actually makes the doors open. When you look at the elevator, the doors open, so I did a little flick to make sure that they're open when I get there. And we do a super jump just to skip having to wait for that glass to break in the one elevator. You can just fall down to the other one quicker. An M79 shot, take out all of the locks really quick.
Were now offline.
And then we can get into the last elevator of this level. And because I skipped the fight at the first elevator of this level, you can see it just happened there. There was a death cutscene for the killer suit. They tried to pathfind towards Max, and they ended up walking back into the trip mine area, the moving trip mine area, if you remember it.
Crept into the snowstorm.
And they ended up dying because of that.
The end.
And so we just had to skip that cutscene. And we do one super jump here to skip for one enemy trigger, and then another super jump to skip another enemy trigger. So we don't have to worry about getting shot.
Computer was on.
And now we're to the last level. It's really cool way to finish the level here. The first thing is we're gonna save glitch, and we're gonna super jump all the way over the door, kill all of the enemies right away, and that allows us to break out of doing the waiting for the helicopter to shoot at us and shooting at the helicopter. We can do super jumps up these beams, because we're gonna super jump up to the top of the building from out here. So we skip almost all of this level by doing this. And I actually did this so fast that it ended up messing me up. I shot that table before the first cutscene even ended. So usually I would be stuck in the cutscene and be invincible, but since I did it too early, now I'm not invincible, I'm not in the cutscene. So it messed me up. And another thing to mention is that when you save glitch, your aim, where your reticle is not actually where you aim, it's usually up. And so that's why I was aiming up above that cable, but I didn't need to since I wasn't in a cutscene. So the last level didn't go exactly how I wanted it to, but I'm still really happy with it. And there are definitely some other projects that I'm going to be working on now that I completed this. I don't think I'll do any percent runs for a while. Maybe some other types of runs. I do want to work on some individual level runs. But I hope you enjoyed. I tried to explain everything as well as I could. If you have any questions about anything, just leave a comment or... Yeah, just leave a comment. I will be doing more in-depth videos trying to explain everything if you do think it's interesting and want to try your hand at speedrunning the game. I will be posting some more videos. And also just general videos that I think anybody can enjoy, even if you don't want to speedrun. If you just want to learn more about the glitches that are in Max Payne and the little tricks that you can do. There's a lot more than you would think, and I definitely didn't get to touch on everything in this run. So if you want to see more of that, just stay around the channel and I will be posting more. But I hope you enjoy watching the video, and have a good one, y'all.
They were all dead. The final gunshot was an exclamation mark to everything that had led to this point. I released my finger from the trigger,